NASDAQ Composite was 0.8% higher. A suite of reports suggested the economy remains solid, while pressures on inflation may be easing. The data could give the Federal Reserve more of the evidence it wants of a slowdown in inflation before it will deliver the cuts to interest rates that investors desire. A day earlier, stocks fell sharply after the Fed warned it doesn't have enough such evidence yet.
Here's the Beaver County forecast.
Windy and cloudy skies today with a possible afternoon drizzle and a high of 49 degrees. Cloudy with a chance of showers tonight and a low of 36. Possible snow tomorrow before 7 a.m. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies with a high of 41. For Saturday, sunny skies with a high of 46. And sunny skies again on Sunday with a high of 50 degrees. That's your latest news updates for Beaver County Radio. I'm Matt Durzik for 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and streaming online at beavercountyradio.com.
Let's face it, work is a large part of your life. Why not choose a job that allows the opportunity of a fulfilling career working with people who appreciate you? St. Barnabas Health System is looking for extraordinary, service-minded people to join our team. Earn and learn with career opportunities on our clinical, housekeeping, and food service teams. For more information and to apply, visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com or call 724-444-JOBS. Jobs that are apart from the ordinary. Find them at St. Barnabas Health System.
It's time for Notes on Local Entertainment, the show highlighting the best in local talent, hosted by Scott Tady Entertainment, editor for the Beaver County Times, and Eddie Crow.
Sometimes familiarity breeds contempt. Other times, you like seeing things the way they used to be. Today, Scott Tady's hair is the way it used to be, the entertainment editor for the Beaver County Times. You had your hair combed and looked legitimate.
I hit the ground running.
Visits.
Yeah, I hit the ground running today. A lot of news to write about, so I apologize. I didn't look in a mirror today.
No, you look great.
Oh, okay.
You look normal. You look like you.
It looked like I planned this. Disheveled on purpose.
It's very, very time-consuming to look like you didn't spend any time on it.
Like 2012 John Mayer.
8 hours to make the hair look tousled. Scott Tady is the entertainment editor for the Beaver County Times. So, you a Swiftie?
Yeah. I having interviewed her twice in person.
How was it?
Delightful. Let me tell you, the first time in 2007, she called me, and I was late getting back from an interview in Pittsburgh. I pulled over in Station Square, tried to find a parking space. She said, "Oh, don't worry, I'll call you back tomorrow, same time." Can you imagine that now?
No.
Someone, a mega superstar like her. That's how nice she was. Yeah, I'm not tired of seeing her on TV. I'm tired of the people who are getting their underwear in a knot about that. I mean, you get like 5 seconds over here and there. Better her than like Jerry Jones or somebody. Better her than Bill Connor and some of those guys in the telling us nothing we don't already know. So I'm fine with it.
He has great velocity in the arm category at the football quarterback position.
Yeah, there's usually like 8 guys there, football experts. Have they ever told you something you didn't already figure out yourself? Not me.
Yeah, sometimes.
Really?
Very seldom.
Okay. Fair.
Here's the deal, and you know this. Anytime you have more than 3 or 4 or certainly 5 people all trying to go at the same time, that is a skill set that not many develop and it gets more difficult, more people, to see a spot, jump the spot, and everybody respect each other enough to let you have the spot.
Right.
That's not an easy thing to do, and most of the time it ends up sounding like 5 people all trying to make the same point at the same time.
Yeah.
Like a bucket of hammers. On the subject of Super Bowls, how many have you covered? I know you've covered some.
2. The Steelers and I had the Garden Cities of Detroit in February, and and Dallas when they had the big ice storm. And I learned that nobody in Dallas knows what to do when there's ice on the road, so they do nothing to it, and terrifying.
Now, be honest. Was Detroit, and I've spoken of this, I covered Detroit. The people were so cool. I was rooting for Detroit and I'm not talking about people because they knew, ooh, you're in from out of town. And just everybody we dealt with in Detroit was absolutely phenomenal.
Totally agree.
I want to ask you about press conferences because I shared the story earlier about the virtual press conference where if you wasn't somebody or didn't already have the questions to the quiz, you didn't get called on. happened yesterday. The press conference was supposed to be about the 1-year anniversary. How many press conferences, just throw a number out, do you think you've gone to? True press conferences where you stand there, wait board for somebody to go up to the podium.
250, I don't know, through the years. Yeah.
Do you think people understand how controlled an environment that most often is?
Yeah, especially if it's presidential and they know
NFL.
the seating. They know the seating chart. They know where the reporters are sitting.
Yeah.
The ones they know they want to call on, they call on. And then there's a pecking order to that. And it doesn't give someone who may be hungry, young, and has a great perspective a chance to jump into the so-called press conference. They don't get to ask a question that many people probably want an answer to.
What is the best or worst press conference? And I'm not talking about they were pleasant or they didn't answer the question. You've covered enough where you've seen some people melt down.
Best was the Pittsburgh Symphony announced Byron Stripling would be their new Pittsburgh Symphony Pops conductor. He's talking about his music. He goes, wait a minute. Reaches in his bag, pulls out a clarinet, and does a solo. He starts shaking. Everyone get on their feet. Come on, start. And he did an impromptu concert.
He's doing crowd work at the press conference.
To prove what a charismatic conductor he was, and it blew me away. Worst. Ooh,
there's a lot of worst, but most of the time the worst are the ones where the people just say, that's it, I'm done, and storm off.
Yeah, I remember when Batman filmed in Pittsburgh and Christopher Nolan was there, and we were all excited, ooh, and they said, okay, he'll take like one question, go. And it was like 1 or 2 questions, and we were all at the door after driving to Pittsburgh parking, and this was a chance to talk to a famous movie director about the biggest movie franchise in the world, and he was there. He had the time, but they, heaven forbid, we get to wing a couple of questions at him.
Is that part of why Taylor Swift is as big as she is? Because she understands how to use work in conjunction with media?
She's also good at giving credentials to cover her shows. I have more trouble. At this point, I still don't know if Madonna's clearing me for her show Monday, but I know weeks ahead of time Taylor Swift's going to give us tickets. And, I think she makes herself available as much as possible, and now she's kind of had to scale back because there's such a outcry, people saying they're tired of seeing her. But you said works the media. I guess you could say that. I mean, my company just hired a full-time Taylor Swift reporter. Gannett now has somebody that is their beat. And they have a Beyonce reporter too, by the way. That's your entire job. I was tempted to apply for it, but I thought, oh man, that would be a tough. You're going to get so much criticism from the hardcore fans. Oh, why did you say? I mean, if you don't say anything but positive, if you come back with any question, well, why did she make this controversial decision? Then you're going to get lambasted.
You can only report the positive. If you report the negative,
right.
It's going to be. Would you want that gig?
No.
Okay.
No.
I said, and I've talked about it. There are newsrooms every single day for the next week and a half till after the Super Bowl. There's an editor saying, Scott, what's your Taylor story today?
Yeah. True.
Do you think it can last? I mean, obviously, we're the media. We'll make up crap.
Yeah. It won't get any bigger, I don't think. I mean, now there's the drama. Will she make it from Tokyo to the game?
Right.
If she leaves the Tokyo show. And it is interesting. No, I think we're hitting the head on how much more we can go with this, and it's got to less. I mean, you're talking the Super Bowl, the single most watched event on TV per year. You're talking about the biggest music superstar. You're talking about a 2-time Super Bowl champion. So there's a lot of it's like a perfect storm of publicity.
It was referenced. Somebody called me yesterday and said it's kind of like the John 3:16 neon afro, rainbow afro guy.
Remember that guy? Yeah.
You remember that? See,
behind home plate? Yeah.
Behind home plate at the U.S. Open, always. But as far as national fervor, people talking about it, reminded him of that. But this is worldwide because of the internet.
It'll be real interesting to see what the TV ratings are for the Super Bowl. Usually they're in 100 million, 92 million or something. Does it bring into more of a worldwide? People watch it in England, even though it's a 5-hour time difference. And I'm curious what the international ratings will be.
What should be getting paid attention to instead of Taylor Swift in the entertainment world? Because there's other stuff going on.
Yeah, well, we always talk about the financial side of it, the concert tickets and how much they've gone up and how sometimes it's hard to get a ticket. They just announced the Grateful Dead their Dead Company doing the Sphere in Las Vegas. And I haven't had a chance to jump on and see what tickets are. You can sign up now for a pre-sale. Even though the pre-sale doesn't begin until Friday, I believe. You can It's like a step procedure. You log on now to pre-sign up for the pre-sale. It's just kind of crazy, and then people will be talking about, one guy posted, I'm thinking of taking out a second mortgage to pay for this, so I'm sure it's not cheap. So that's an angle. The ticket pricing, is it pricing some people out? I think that's still worth talking about.
Somebody paid $70-something thousand for their tickets for the Baltimore Ravens game that they lost.
Ooh.
Currently, last time I checked, average ticket price, you can get it in Vegas Super Bowl, 75, 8,000, right around there. Oh. The average hotel room right now in Vegas, $2,400 for the night. So if those numbers hold, you're talking about popping $10,000 for just you and a place to sleep.
But then the flip side of it is no one's putting a gun to your head and telling you to spend that. If somebody's got the money and they want to do it, would I spend that much money? No, but I just, the concert itself, you wonder, a place like Star Lake, and we all criticize it, but they still make it affordable to see a show. You can spend $20, stand on the grass, and see a foreigner do its second annual farewell tour.
As long as you don't order a sandwich.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But, some of the arena ones, I don't know. There's a lot. I wish they could be both ways. I don't mind them selling the VIP front row seats for however many hundreds of thousands of dollars they can get, but you don't want to price out everyone where the hardcore fan can't even afford to see the artists they supported through the years.
Scott Tady of the Beaver County Times is my guest on Teleforum. Are you aware of what Billy Joel does?
Yeah, and he released, I like that new single today.
That new single, but what Billy Joel does, the front rows at his concert, he doesn't let them be sold to rich, boring people. Yeah. He keeps the seats open and then sends his people up to the back of the arena and says, come on down.
He today released his first new single material in like 20 years, and it sounds like 1978 Billy Joel.
Sounds like Glass Houses stuff.
Right, like an outtake. So that's the best compliment you can say. It sounds like old Billy Joel, but yeah. And I respect that he does that with the concert tickets as well.
Well, the old Billy Joel, that's why people are showing up. Yeah, to have almost 20 years, you're showing up for the old stuff. You want the new Beatles song, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Sounds like the Beatles. The new Rolling Stones, you know what it sounds like? The Rolling Stones.
Yeah, that's why. Right? Billy Joel was my concert of the year in 2022, which really surprised me. I wasn't expecting it to be that good. And he came out, first thing he says, look, I ain't doing anything new. I'm just doing all the old stuff. And 50,000 people cheered at that point, and then that's exactly what he did, and he loved it. But now he's got one new song that sounds good, so what the heck?
Well, that's so you can plug I got a new record out. You can buy it on the Amazon.
Yeah, there you go. And he's got to pay for his Hamptons Oceanside retreat,
I got a feeling Billy seems to be doing all right. Do you think that when you see an artist that hasn't done anything big or gone out in years, all of a sudden they're going out. Oh, they got money trouble?
Sometimes you wonder. I want to get your take on this. There's a new Chevrolet commercial, and it's using Grand Funk Railroad's I'm Getting Closer to My Home. I interviewed the lyricist, the singer who wrote that song, and he said that was so many Vietnam veterans told him that was the most important song in their life at that moment. That's the song that got them home. That's the song they clung to when they needed something. Now it's selling Chevrolets, but the flip side, Grand Funk is from Detroit. They're from Michigan. This is helping a Michigan company. So is this a case where it's a good thing and right thing to do, to take an important song and use it commercially, but it's helping something that maybe helps his community? I'm going back and forth.
Somebody offered you money for something, take it.
That's what Bob Seger did. Remember when they used like a rock for Ford? Yeah. I remember Bob Costas interviewing him, trying to pin him. Why did you do that? Neil Young's doing a song.
Because they paid him.
And he said, look, I sat down in a room with a bunch of Ford people. They showed me how many millions of dollars they thought this would make for a company, how many jobs this would employ for people in my home state of Michigan. I said, it's yours for whatever lucrative amount. But so I was fair. I was fine with that.
We attach emotions. You're talking about that song with Vietnam, the songs that you listened to growing up as a kid, the Led Zeppelin. And when you hear a Led Zeppelin song selling you something, it hurts you emotionally. But I'd like to think we're old enough now. Do you go to work because you love it, or do you go to work because they pay you?
Maybe 20%'s love and
80%'s mortgage.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
All right. And people, that song should never be. Whoever owns the rights to the song gets to decide where it's going to end up.
You just hope they choose correctly. They choose a company. You don't want.
You hope you don't get ripped off. You don't hope it's a janky product.
Yeah,
yes,
selling Doritos or something. But
you hope, and we're talking about older songs that have been out for a while, maybe those people do need, it ain't going to hurt. If somebody walks up to you and says, we're going to back up a dump truck full of cash, and you ain't even got to do nothing, you just got to let us use that thing you recorded 35 years ago.
Right.
Right on, where do I sign?
And the guy that wrote that song, Mark Farner, last I saw, he was playing like casinos, so maybe he does need some money.
Take the money.
Yeah.
If somebody, here, rule one of life, if somebody's going to offer you money for your skill, your product, as long as it's legal, take the money.
Yeah.
Because there will be a day when you won't be able, nobody's going to offer you that. Well, you think I showed up for the love.
I like your TED Talk. This is good.
My TED Talk?
Yeah.
Oh, I kind of do that, don't I? That's kind of my job, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, what should I have asked you about that I didn't ask you about? If I did a good TED Talk, I would know.
Yeah. I have a story up today, timesonline.com, about Galentine's Day. There's a big Galentine's in Beaver, one in Ambridge, one in New Brighton, and you're familiar with Galentine's, right? The whole historic significance from a episode of Parks and Recreation where the women decided they needed to have their own celebration of...
Leslie got all of these single women together.
Yes. I just love that a really good TV show sparked what's becoming a national holiday where towns are celebrating it. Downtown Beaver, which is almost never open on a Sunday, will be open, like 25 businesses will be open the Sunday before Valentine's Day, and they're having special, tastings and DJs and products, and it sounds real fun. And Ambridge is having one too. Get
wind up with your girlfriends and complain about men.
Yeah, why not? Men are welcome, but yeah, they'd kind of stick out.
Would a guy be viewed as a little bit of a weirdo if he's showing up in the middle of Galentine?
Let's find out.
Let's find out. When is it?
This Ambridge is like the Friday of Valentine's.
Okay.
New Brighton's is the Saturday, and I think Beaver's is the Sunday.
I am going to
go. We can do 3 of them.
I got a feeling after mine and Ambridge, I'll be kind of gun shy after that, but we'll see how it goes.
Ambridge has Morgan Gruber, and we're, of course, big fans of hers. She's singing at the Boba Tea. And no, I'm sorry. She's singing at Harkins Mill Winery on Merchant Street. Mm-hmm. We love Morgan Gruber. We had her here. Remember singing?
She was part of the Christmas celebration.
American
Our
Idol.
sister station plays her all the time.
Yes.
So, all right, Scott Tady, good to see you. Anything else?
That's good for me.
All right.
You look good today, by the way.
What?
You look professional. You look like you're in charge.
I thought you knew me better than that.
Well, you're deceptive then.
That's it. I'm going to be in a book.
I heard. I'm jealous.
All I'm going to demand, if I'm going to be in a book, the zombie has to eat my brain. That's all I'm asking in the book.
Fair.
Do you wish that you had the support of a family in your financial institution?